I have no idea what's going on with this light, but it's making me look like an angel, so we're running with it. This is going to be a really rough and ready Dewithon TBR. 1st of March, start of Dewithon. It's St David's Day here in Wales, and like all great Welsh myths, Dewithon's roots and origins are the stuff of legend. So the person who originated and started Dewithon is no longer on BookTube, although I have a feeling they started it as a blog maybe. Like I said, all great Welsh myths and legends are steeped in mystery and intrigue. The purpose of Dewithon is to put a focus on Wales and Welsh authors and Welsh publishers throughout the month of March. So you can read Welsh authors, you can read books set in Wales, you can read books published by Welsh publishers, however tenuous the link is, it counts. So I have been around my shelves and picked off everything that I have that I think fits this bill, and I have quite the stack. It's quite a lot of books. So I'm going to very briefly, like I say, a bit rough and ready, tell you about what's here. So starting on the top here, I've got In My Mind's Eye, a Thought Diary by Jan Morris. This was a book I picked up at Queer Emporium in Cardiff. They have a really delightful shelf titled Welsh and Queer. Perfect. And I have 2 books. Well, where's the other one? The other one's at the bottom, I think. 2 books that I picked up from there. So this is a collection of diary pieces. Jan Morris was a former soldier and journalist. It shares her day-to-day thoughts over the course of a year. It says it's from cats to cars, travel to home, classical music to the great American songbook, Wales to the British Empire, marmalade to Meghan Markle, the decline of the special relationship to the spectre of Brexit, and of course books, her own and others. This is a cornucopia of delights from a unique and treasured literary figure. So that sounds rather wonderful. That's a potential. I should have said there's a lot of books here, so this is more of your pile of possibilities as opposed to a firm TBR, because my reading is slow at the moment, so I shall be dipping into this as a Welsh smorgasbord, if you will. Next up I have Weeping Tomato by Samantha Rumbidzai's Vazhure. I read Samantha's poetry collection last year, and this is her novel, which I'm really excited about. The blurb says, Weeping Tomato is a life-affirming story that drags the reader into the intrigue, fears and conflicting desires of an older married woman wrestling with guilt and the need for freedom from her dutiful conservative upbringing. So that sounds rather marvellous. Samantha writes really, really great feminist stuff, so this is going to be really super. Next up I have Welsh Fairy Tales, Myths and Legends by Claire Fayers. I've had this for the longest time. It's really about time that I read it. It's got enormous font, so it's not going to take me very long to read, and I don't really know why I haven't picked it up already, so maybe this is the year. Next I have a poetry collection called Small by Natalie and Holborow. I don't know anything about this. We all have our favourite demons, true that. Weave throughout poems on mythology, literary figures and other shores. The narrator is haunted by her biggest demon of all, the gargantuan Small. Told with rawness and honesty, the secretive nature of living with an eating disorder is yanked out into the open and given physical form and voice. Super. So that's Small by Natalie and Holborow. Another poetry collection is The Blue Book by Owen Shears. Owen Shears is quite a famous poet in Wales, and this is one of his collections. Next I have The Significance of Swans by Rhiannon Lewis. I'm really excited to get to this. This is a dystopian fiction, again with an older female protagonist. We're loving that at the moment, and I think it's like set in a not too distant future where people just start falling asleep and not waking up, and then gradually like that happens to more and more people, and this woman is kind of like left alone, and she travels across parts of Wales to try to head to her like family farm to see her brother. So, and the back it says, however, she comes to realise that her biggest challenge in this brave new world will not be finding food or fuel, but dealing with another survivor. I saw Rhiannon speak about this when it was launched. I think it sounds wonderful. She's got a real kind of like warmth to her, but also this like really sparkly wit and like mischievousness, and I really hope that that translates to her writing. It says on the front that it's Cormac McCarthy's The Road, written with a woman's sensitivity and interiority, and I had planned, I think I've said this like 10 times, I had planned to do a kind of dystopia off and read this and The Road by Cormac McCarthy in a reading vlog, so maybe that will happen this month too. I also have The Fortune Men by Nadifa Mohamed. This was either shortlisted or it might have won. Oh, it won Wales Book of the Year. I don't know what year that was. There's a really strong history of black culture in Cardiff, particularly around Cardiff Bay, and I think that's what this is about. 1952, the bay is bustling with Somali and West Indian sailors, Maltese businessmen and Jewish families. Mahmoud is the father, chancer, petty criminal. He's many things, but he is not a murderer. So when a shopkeeper is brutally murdered and all eyes fall on Mahmoud, he isn't too worried. He has the truth on his side and is innocent in this country where justice is served. It is only in the run-up to the trial that it will dawn on Mahmoud that he is actually in a fight for his life against conspiracy, prejudice and cruelty, and that the truth may not be enough to save him. I've heard only really good things about this, so I'll look forward to reading The Fortune Men. Another new Welsh release is Unspeakable Beauty by Giorgia Carys Williams. This combines two of my favourite things, and that is Welsh literature and ballet. So the main protagonist grows up an only child, and she suffers a catastrophic loss in her youth, and she learns to kind of like channel her feelings and communicates through her dance, and then there's something about a consuming affair with an older man, and she's kind of like trying to find her voice. And it says, this beautiful poetic debut novel warns of the dangers of being a quiet person in a loud world and letting magnetic strangers pull your strings. Set on the Welsh coast, Unspeakable Beauty is an unsettling coming-of-age tale about the importance of learning how to take the lead and be yourself, of finding hope in the shadows, of letting your dreams bloom. I think it sounds gorgeous. Another new release in Welsh fiction is Time Again by Carolyn Lewis. There was a book event for this in my local bookshop recently, but unfortunately I couldn't make it, which is really annoying, but I did buy the book nonetheless. Another one of my favourite things at the moment, and that is an older protagonist. So the main character in this is in her 70s, I think, and it's about her wanting to continue playing a really crucial role in the family business, but her children having other ideas, and it's about that kind of battle between kind of youth and age, and coming to terms with those changing relationships with your children as you get older. Yeah, that sounds like Kerry catnip right now. Next I have Water Shower Reviews then by Lucie McKnight Hardy. Let me tell you what this one's about. The heatwave of 1976, following the accidental drowning of her sister, 16-year-old Nif and her family moved to a small village on the Welsh borders to escape their grief. But rural seclusion doesn't bring any relief. As her family unravels, Nif begins to put together her own form of witchcraft, collecting talismans from the sun-bleached land. That is until she meets Mally, a teen boy who takes a keen interest in her and his own secret rites to divulge. Sounds great! This one, which is This House by This House by Sian Northey, is actually translated from Welsh by Susan Walton. Anna has lived alone for decades. She is cocooned by and marooned in an isolated cottage called Nant yr Awr in the Welsh mountains. The arrival of Sean, a young man who seems strangely at home in the house, leads to an unpicking of Anna's past. As Anna's relationship with Sean develops, her perspective and the solidarity of past shifts, uncertainty, distortion, illusion and subtle betrayal are gradually exposed. Ultimately, a quietly devastating revelation changes the lives of both Sean and Anna. Sean, and then it says about Sian Northey's writing, it says on the back, "What if the walls of your beloved home were filled with sorrow? Some places can hold you back from life. Grief, solitude, and the inner call to free oneself from the past are the strands that weave beautifully and tightly together in this novel." Another book I'm super excited about is The Inverts by Crystal Jeans. It says, oh, the Daily Mail. Daily Mail says, the sort of thing Nancy Mitford might have written if she'd have been gay. Thank you, Daily Mail. So it's 1921, a boy, a girl, a moonlight midnight kiss, a terrible, repulsive kiss. Bettina and Bart have grown up as best friends, so surely they will end up together. After all, Bettina is young, rich, headstrong and gay. Bart is young, rich, charismatic and also definitely gay. Society will never stand for it. What else can they do but enter into a lavender marriage and carry on indulging their true natures behind closed doors? But the delights of the roaring 20s make some secrets hard to keep, and before long cigarettes, champagne and sex turn to scandal, betrayal and murder. That's a Scottish murder, not a Welsh murder. A murder. Oh, it's Liverpudlian. Continue. Okay, so the other book that I picked up at the Queer Emporium in Cardiff was this one. This is Grandmother's Closet by Luke Hereford, and this is a transcript of Luke's theatre, like one-person play, I think. Autobiographical musical adventure that promises mischief, mashups, dresses and divas and a whole lot of heart. And last but not least, I've got West by Carys Davies. I read Clear by Carys Davies last year, loved it. This is a Western, as the cover and the title might suggest. I really loved Carys Davies' writing, and she did a lot of really in-depth research, which didn't feel clunky in Clear. It felt really well integrated into the story, and the ending of that book was really unusual. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what West delivers. So there we have it. Those are all of the books that I have as potential reads for Dewithon this year. If you're taking part, I would love to hear what you're reading, or if you've got any recommendations for me or anybody else watching this video, chuck them in the comments below. I hope you are looking after yourself, and I will see you again in the next video.